Hello, this is Dr. Grande. Today's question is, can I analyze the case of the Kai Cenat riot in New York City? Just a reminder, I'm not diagnosing anybody in this video, only speculating about what could be happening in a situation like this. If you enjoy this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, and consider supporting me on Patreon. I'll put the link to Patreon in the description for this video. First, I'll look at the background of this case, move to the timeline of the riot, then offer my analysis. Kai Carlo Cenat III was born in Brooklyn, New York on December 16, 2001. His family lived in Georgia for a while before returning to Brooklyn and eventually moving to the Bronx. Kai said that when he was young, he was a troublemaker and was rude to his teachers. He became fascinated with pranksters on social media, which inspired him to become a prankster himself. In 2018, he became active as a social media influencer. He started a YouTube channel and uploaded videos mostly featuring pranks and challenges. After graduating from high school, Kai briefly attended college. He implied that he dropped out because it was holding him back in his career. In 2021, Kai started streaming on the platform Twitch, which propelled him to extraordinary success. He has millions of followers across multiple social media platforms. Now moving to the timeline of the riot. During a live stream on August 2, 2023, Kai announced a giveaway scheduled for August 4 in New York City. Kai and another Twitch streamer were planning to give out free PlayStation 5 consoles, computers, keyboards, headphones, microphones, and other items in Union Square Park. The police would later say that Kai never obtained a permit for the gathering. On August 4, the day of the event, Kai posted on Twitter that he would be live streaming the giveaway starting at 3:30 p.m. The police became aware of the unauthorized gathering sometime around noon and sent a few officers to the area. Many more attendees than expected arrived at Union Square. In response, additional officers were sent to the area to control the crowds, but a riot broke out sometime around 4 p.m. Rioters engaged in a lot of dangerous and destructive behavior. Here are just a few examples. They blocked streets, threw rocks, detonated fireworks, and someone discharged a fire extinguisher into the crowd. Rioters vandalized food carts, storefronts, and motor vehicles, including a police vehicle. Several people were dancing on top of it. People fought with police officers, climbed on street signs, looted a drugstore, and grabbed axes and shovels from a construction site. The crowd grew to thousands of people. The police later said that there were 5,000 or 6,000 in total. Eventually, the number of officers reached about 1,000 as they launched a desperate effort to get control of the riot. The police used a level 4 mobilization, the highest level of disaster response that is deployed by the New York Police Department. Several retailers were forced to close early, transportation was disrupted, and at least 9 people were injured, including 3 police officers. Kai was in a black SUV during the riot. He exited and was surrounded by rioters and attendees. The police arrested Kai at about 5 p.m. and regained control of the area sometime around 6 p.m. Kai was charged with first-degree rioting, which is a felony, and 2 misdemeanors, inciting a riot and unlawful assembly. If convicted of first-degree rioting, Kai is facing up to 4 years in prison. About 65 other people were arrested during the riot as well. Now moving to my analysis. Here are my thoughts in a few areas that stood out to me in this case. Item number 1. Kai has achieved fame on multiple social media platforms, including Twitch and YouTube. He was named one of the 20 most influential creators of 2023 by Rolling Stone. Kai's audience is very young. He has about 6.5 million followers on Twitch. He is known for live streaming for hours at a time. He interacts with fans, plays video games, and reacts to things. Kai operates 2 large YouTube channels. They both have around 4 million subscribers. Combined, they have been viewed over 1 billion times and get viewed over 100 million times a month. Here are some video titles from one of his YouTube channels, which sum up his content pretty well. pranking ghost experts with fake ghost, cooking during college lectures, getting arrested during college lecture, I started drinking, I started smoking cigarettes, I dropped out of college, and being 200% honest at job interviews. That last item provides some insight into Kai's mathematical skill. Item number 2. In some instances, the reasons behind the success of social media influencers are clear, and at other times, they are a bit murky. I think the latter is consistent with Kai's success. It's not clear what value he brings to his audience as far as any demonstrable talent, but he does have a lot of enthusiasm and makes animated facial expressions. I think the attraction for many people might simply be the lifestyle that he promotes. Kai has a lot of money. He travels around and meets people. He owns a lot of expensive items like exotic cars. He inspires his audience to chase their dreams just like he has. Kai's prank videos contain the kind of typical mindless nonsense that I've talked about before when reviewing pranksters. He has other videos that do not contain pranks. Many of these do not appear to be overtly ill-intentioned. Most of them simply feature him hanging out with people and talking. For the most part, Kai seems aloof, immature, and he really doesn't seem to understand how life works. In that way, he is like many other social media influencers his age. Item number 3. Do I think that Kai is guilty of the charges he is facing? As I mentioned, Kai is facing 3 charges: first-degree rioting, inciting a riot, and unlawful assembly. First-degree rioting, which is a felony and the most serious charge he is facing, is when a person engages in tumultuous or violent conduct and thereby intentionally or recklessly causes or creates a grave risk of causing public alarm. In addition, the conduct causes injury or property damage. The second charge, inciting a riot, is a misdemeanor. It's similar to first-degree rioting, but there is no requirement for injury or property damage. The third charge, unlawful assembly, is when somebody assembles people for the purpose of engaging in tumultuous or violent conduct likely to cause public alarm. In looking at Kai's behavior, there doesn't seem to be much question that the public alarm caused injury and property damage. I think the difficult part as far as prosecuting Kai would be proving that his behavior was intentional or reckless. There is the sense that Kai really didn't know what he was doing. He didn't realize how many people would respond to his giveaway. I'm not convinced he had an intent to cause a riot. Did he recklessly cause a riot? Some people have suggested that Kai really had no idea the gathering would become unruly. Others say that he knew exactly what he was doing. Based on the evidence available so far, I think Kai is probably in a good deal of trouble as far as the charges. Kai posted a video on social media which was recorded during the riot. At one point, Kai said it felt so good to be here. After this, he walked out into the crowd and interacted with people. If he was really trying to avoid a riot, he should have left immediately instead of doing anything to encourage people to stay there. Item number 4. Some have argued that there is no way Kai could have figured out that the giveaway could lead to a riot. He was simply not good enough at math to perform the calculations. Perhaps, but it was his responsibility to make an informed decision, and he should have obtained a permit. He could have hired somebody to perform the calculations for him, and probably hired somebody to obtain the permit. As far as the calculations, it would not have taken a math professor. The calculations were pretty straightforward. Kai has a minimum of 6.5 million followers. Assuming 50% are in the United States, his followers represent 1% of the U.S. population. New York City is home to 8.5 million people. 1% of that is 85,000. It's not really surprising that 5,000 or 6,000 people out of 85,000 would attend an event to get free items. This estimate is actually conservative for several reasons. Here are just a few examples. Kai probably has more than 6.5 million followers. Kai's U.S. followers may represent more than 50% of the total. Because of his ties to New York City, Kai may have a special appeal to its residents. Therefore, a higher percentage of his followers may be from the city, and people could have traveled from outside the city to attend the giveaway. This is another example of how innumeracy the mathematical equivalent of illiteracy, can cause a lot of problems. Item number 5, even if Kai did incite the riot, it does not fully explain why the riot occurred. Everybody must be responsible for their own behavior, regardless of Kai's actions. Why did so many people behave in an antisocial manner? I think what happened here is that a large number of young people who follow Kai are immature, impulsive, sensation-seeking, and greedy. Kai gave them a perfect chance to vandalize, steal, and physically attack one another. Some people have a mentality that is consistent with always looking for trouble, always looking for an opportunity to cause destruction. I think this offers a preview of what defunding the police would look like if it ever happened. Chaos would only be one free PlayStation away. Item number 6, Kai Cenat is not a good role model for young people. He has poor planning skills, is bad at math, and he does not appear to appreciate how his behavior has consequences. Young people may look at his behavior and think it's a good idea to drop out of school and recklessly pursue their dreams. Through this riot, perhaps Kai has taught an important lesson after all. Impulsively making decisions can lead to destruction, criminal charges, and, almost certainly, expensive lawsuits. Kai may be popular, but that doesn't mean he has anything valuable to offer. Animated facial expressions are not a substitute for talent. A high level of energy is not a substitute for rational decision-making. And the callousness necessary to play pranks is not a substitute for empathy. Kai believes himself to be some type of comedian, like people should look at him and say, that guy's a riot. I think the incident on August 4 is the closest he will ever get to that goal. Now moving to my final item, number 7. Many people have blamed the parents of the rioters, especially considering how many of the offenders were unsupervised teenagers. I think this speaks to the high level of narcissism that pervades modern society. People don't look at raising children as an important responsibility. When young people are given the power to connect to social media and not given any rules, they will find a substitute for parents. They will select another leader, another role model, one that tells them exactly what they want to hear. For example, dropping out of school is good, one can earn millions of dollars by making silly facial expressions, and there are no consequences to bad decisions. Unfortunately, these leaders are offering terrible advice because they are not truly leaders at all. I think this dynamic just shows how desperate young people are for a role model. When they are left unsupervised, even Kai Cenat seems like a good choice. Those are my thoughts on the case of the Kai Cenat riot in New York City. Please put any opinions and thoughts in the comment section. They always generate an interesting dialogue. As always, I hope you found my analysis of this topic to be informative. Thanks for watching.